The key to success on the field and in your backyard is a comprehensive game plan. So if you're building a fence or a deck this year, trust a Turkstra coach to design, quote, or order the right materials for your project. Visit a Turkstra Lumber near you to learn more.
From the Ticats Audio Network, this is the Coach O Show with Luke Tasker.
Welcome back to the Coach O Show with Luke Tasker. The Ticats season is coming to an end here. A semifinal loss in Montreal, 12-27 was the final there, and that will be the end of the season for the Hamilton Tiger Cats as Montreal heads to Toronto for the Eastern Final. We're going to put a wrap to the Coach O Show with Luke Tasker for this season, the 2023 season, with today's episode. We'll bring this to an end. However, still football in Hamilton, of course. The Grey Cup is coming. We'll be ready for all the activity next week as we get ready for the big game. Just a week and a half from right now as we're recording this, leading into the finals week. All kinds of events to be excited for, and you can tune into the Ticats Audio Network leading into and throughout the Grey Cup for more content. Coach, you're back home in Hamilton. I remember the feeling of these seasons getting cut short and unfortunate endings. I remember them too well. As you're winding things down, what was the biggest missing piece from your team's semifinal performance in Montreal?
Well, I don't think we created enough turnovers, and we obviously we gave the ball away there, and that's in big games you're just not afforded that luxury unless you're taking the ball away. Obviously we didn't find the end zone like we wanted to, and we just had a few mishaps there. Then in that game, we thought it was it was a high baseball score there, basically heading into halftime, and then we had the fumble, then we had the tip pick. Yeah. And they capitalized on it. So it's still a one-score game that, at halftime. But, it was looking more like it was going to be 7-6 heading in. And, yeah, definitely just extremely disappointed in the outcome. Definitely proud of our effort all season.
Yeah. You mentioned, trouble getting into the end zone. It was four field goals for your 12 points in Montreal. Is there a particular strength of Montreal? Is there something they're doing very well preventing those touchdowns?
Well, I thought we did a good job of preventing touchdowns too, for the most part. Yeah, they prevent a lot of challenges. They have multiple looks and that sort of thing. But we obviously are, we didn't get an opportunity because when you turn the ball over, we were down there moving the ball relatively well. I think we were enforcing our will on them a little bit there early on in the game, running the ball effectively, spreading the ball out, changing our personnel groupings. I thought they were having challenges also, but then we have the fumble there, and it just doesn't bode well for winning. I thought we did a great job of being extremely disciplined until the unfortunate thing at the end. I don't think we had a penalty in the game until that last thing. I think they declined one, but I thought our discipline was strong, and I thought the compete level was super high, and it really felt like it might be one of those games where who had the ball last was going to have the best opportunity to win, and it just didn't unravel that way. Yeah.
You mentioned the sort of scuffle at the end of the game with both teams involved there. Any insight you can give to that? Is that just emotions at the end of the season? It was sort of a confusing scene on monitors and watching in person.
Yeah, there's no defense for, any of that, right? That's one of those things. It's not who we are. It's not what we stand for. Sometimes people make poor decisions, and it doesn't just affect that person, it affects the whole team. But that is not indicative of who we are, how we've been, the reputation of this organization. We like to toe the line, we like to get pulled back, but we don't condone that sort of thing. So it was it was a wildly embarrassing moment, a learning moment. And, it really emphasizes that, one decision can affect a lot of people in the perception. But I know who we are. Other teams know who we are and what we stand for. Is an unfortunate thing.
Mm-hmm. Defensively, to think back to the beginning of the season and that first maybe third of the season, the defense actually sort of started statistically slow. I mean, they were in the bottom half of a lot of categories statistically, and by the end of this season, I mean, that was a pretty productive group overall. What's your sort of memory or story of your defense for this season?
I think you summed it up. I think it was a slow start. explosion wise, getting in the end zones, the run, stopping the run. And I think we just found out who we were a little bit along the way, learned how to navigate around key injuries, kind of find out who you are. And, and it's always a complimentary thing there, Luke, when it comes to, the offense became a little bit more productive, so we weren't on the field quite as much. But we did really limit explosions. We started taking the football away. And, I felt like we made more timely plays consistently. And that's really what happened. When you're young in the back end, sometimes the best teacher, fortunately and unfortunately, is experience. And I just felt like we matured in that way, and everybody had a better understanding of just what it takes to consistently win, not just be a good defense. So, and obviously we controlled the run game a lot better down the stretch. So regardless of where we finish in the standings, obviously when you take care of those areas, you end up higher in the standings or rankings.
Sure. Offensively, I kind of sense that probably a lot of Ticat fans, unfortunately, you think back on the season offensively, sure, certainly Tim White stands out, James Butler in their years, but I think unfortunately the QB balancing, the QB sort of injuries, the inconsistency, and just the ongoing sort of rotating room of quarterbacks is maybe what stands out the most. I expect that's probably one of the things that is in your mind as well, just the unfortunate quarterback injuries of the year.
Yeah, it didn't go as planned or expected, and that was to have a healthy Bo the whole time and a healthy Matt Schultz the whole time and ready to go. And Kai came in and did a fantastic job for us in the role that we asked him to play, and he wasn't a Ticat in the beginning. Taylor Powell came in late, so it didn't go according to plan. And when it's easy to plug and play the majority of positions. That one's a little bit tougher. They're going to touch the ball on every play, but nothing changes. The mindset doesn't change. There's no, hey, that's okay. We'll figure it out. We can lose a bunch of games along the way. You still come out to work every single day. You don't sit there and go into a meeting saying, oh boy, you're preparing to win every single week. And so, that's the juggling act there is always tough. And I felt like once we were a little bit more solidified there, that was also a decent turning point.
Yeah. Let's get to a fan question here, Coach. Our last fan question for the season for 2023 and the Coach O Show. And this one comes from Scott and Shannon in Hamilton. And a big thanks to all the fans, the questions that got asked and some of the ones that couldn't be asked, but we really thank everyone for sending your questions in. And it's been a great part of the show this year. Scott and Shannon in Hamilton ask, Coach, when does work begin? I assume you have to mentally and emotionally take a break, but do you begin planning for next season before the New Year's?
Okay, Scott and Shannon, the answer is yes to both. You do have to take a step back. I think reacting to everything that you think is wrong or right away can be productive, but it can also be counterproductive. And so in part B to your question, do you start thinking of 2024 during the 2023 calendar year? The answer is yes. Absolutely you do, because there's a lot of people, staff included, organizationally, that are not under contract, right? These are people. Football's the title, but there's a lot that goes into football. And when you have an organization, I'm always in front of the camera, but it's everybody behind the camera that allows me to be in front of the camera. And that has to be taken care of. So you can't turn it all completely off. And I think, Scott and Shannon, you're referring more to the football portion, but the football portion doesn't go without the people behind the football. So, and I know you're probably also want to know about like free agents and that sort of thing. Yeah, but those are things that'll take on a life of its own, and that gets to be here before you know it. So, great questions. The quick answer is yes, you need to decompress, and no, you don't wait till 2024 to worry about 2024.
Mm-hmm. Good questions. Thanks Scott and Shannon for adding into the show today, Coach. I'm guessing you're schedule today is exit meetings and all the things that tie up a whole football season. There's a lot of people to talk to in those last days, for players for sure, and for you especially. Can you maybe share some sentiment or some of your messaging to the team as you kind of gathered to say goodbyes to the season?
Yeah, you always address the elephant in the room first, that, we weren't good enough to be champions. We didn't play well enough to advance to the East Final and those sorts of things. With that being said, it's just so different from the inside out, Luke. So much to be proud of. There's no doubt that we're in a profession that only sees championships, and that's the way it is. Fans, everybody, the city deserves a championship and wants that, expects that. That's beautiful. That's, like I always say, fan is short for the word fanatic. And people are going to have strong opinions about what it is they want to do and see and hear, and that's fine. That's what the sports entertainment business is about. And so with that being said, our goal is always to win the Grey Cup and acquire the best free agents and, be the top class and best in class organization. And that's always the goal. And that's what you're working towards. And things don't go according to plan. And anybody that's living understands that. It's called life, and life doesn't go as expected. You're guaranteed adversity. You're guaranteed things that you're going to have to adjust. And football's no different. The difference is you're evaluated every week in front of, you name it, however many people you want to say, from tens of thousands to possibly 1 million people. And that's the beauty of it. And that's what you sign up for. This is sports, and people have an opinion and are passionate about it and have answers and demand this and are going to critique everything that you do. And so that's the players are critiqued the same way. Everybody has a voice. It used to just be a newspaper and you'd have to pick it up. Now everybody on their way out of the stadium can speak on who played terrible, who dropped the ball, this person cost us the game. That's the world they live in. And so it's important that I recognize them as people and exactly what we did inside out and everything that we had to overcome to get an opportunity to win a championship. And I'm just so proud of the people, right? They're not players, they're people. And what we had to overcome and go through, it's our journey. And I said, do not let anybody take any of that away, because they don't understand. Don't expect them to understand. That does not excuse the end goal of what we want to get accomplished. But if they go through life and they're defined by the end result of everything they do, that's not what we do here. These guys and gals are winners. There's so many lessons to be taken along the way. And yes, as long as they keep score, it's a zero-sum game. As long as they keep score, there's always going to be a winner and a loser. But if you don't take anything along the journey and celebrate some of the little things, you've missed it. And I don't ever want to miss an opportunity to help people be better people. So I want to build champions while pursuing championships. And unfortunately and fortunately, there's only one color of confetti that falls at the end of the day. Luke, you've been in some of those meetings. I think you'd be hard pressed to find anything negative that came out of it when we fell short those times, especially when I was in front of the room as the head coach. Disappointing as it may be, those rooms are never the same. The relationships, the laughs, the tears, the grind, the injuries. I don't want to embarrass you, but, I get almost emotional thinking about the sacrifice you made and the pain you played through. You may drop a pass in a game and that's all they see, but they don't know that you were coughing up blood the week before, or that you were training hard and the shots you took to do it. And nor should they know. But that's what I'm trying to do, is give everybody out there a tangible example of why it's not berated and why Luke Tasker is not a failure because he dropped a ball or we didn't win a Grey Cup. Because I know from the inside out the sacrifice that a Luke Tasker made and the torture that his family and wife went through, and what he did in the offseason and sacrificing his next career to be the best he could be. Those are the things I like to highlight at the end of the year and not be defined by the scoreboard.
Yeah, wow. That's just really, really valuable words, and I'm reminded of the speeches you made similar to that, and I know the authenticity that comes in the franchise that we're a part of with the Ticats and the Ticats Audio Network about the sincerity of caring about people and how hard it is, how much goes into a season that even without a Grey Cup. And so I appreciate your words, Coach, and it's really telling. I think that listeners will appreciate that message.
Yeah, I was just gonna say, I just really feel like we work hard on building the foundation here, Luke. It's something we spend time on. We don't do 24. If there's an hour meeting, you've been in those meetings. That we're gonna do 10 minutes of people time and bonding time and whatever it may be. The even the listeners wouldn't quite understand. You've been a part of it, and I just think while people say, "Oh, it's 10 minutes," we're missing out on these plays. I look at it as 10 minutes of bonding and building time into a values that you believe in and you think that will make a difference. 10 minutes times, 6 days a week, all of a sudden is an hour times 20 weeks becomes a lot of time. And when you start to see the fruit and you start to hear about people that are from other organizations talk about the environment, and wanting to be a part of it and things that they appreciate. It's not just the physical play of standing on the shoulders who came before you. This is about the Luke Taskers, the Andy Fantus, the CJ Gables, the Riker Matthews, the Taylor Reeds. Like, this has been built. This environment has been built even when I was the DC, and you knew that. It used to be, I'm just saying this to you, Luke, they won't get this, but the floor call before, the yells, that used to just be defense, if you remember, when I was the DC. And I just said, that's a team thing now. And that permeates, it's still going. And that wasn't something that started this year. And so it's not just trying to make the plays of the legendary people before. It's being a part of this organization, being first class, being best in class at treating bus drivers a certain way, treating pilots a certain way, cleaning up locker rooms a certain way. That's the Hamilton way. Oh, and by the way, we're going to bang you between the white lines a little bit too.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. That's fantastic, Coach. It's it is just a reminder of you make me think back to the sacrifice that it is to be a part of it and how much good comes even before you've won or lost a game. Quickly, we'll give another really big thanks to Turkstra Lumber. They've been a great partnership with the Ticats and with the Ticats Audio Network. The Coach O Show with Luke Tasker is presented by Turkstra Lumber. Check out the project coaches at Turkstra Lumber. They can help with every part of your home reno, from designing a deck to ordering a new front door. Learn more at turkstralumber.com. And thank you for a great year of a partnership with Turkstra and the Coach O Show with Luke Tasker. Coach, the Ticats are done for the year. Fans, listeners, make sure you get your tickets for all kinds of Grey Cup activities that are going to be happening here in the coming week as we lead up to the big game. Coach, you've already said so many great things and your sentiment towards the players and towards the organization. I just wouldn't want to wrap before giving you a chance to just address the fans and just for our last episode of this season.
Yeah. It's real simple. I thank the fans for their passion. I thank them for sticking out. Or sticking it out with us. I thank them for their cheers. I'm thankful for their boos. Their passion is second to none. It's really that simple. Like it's how genuine it is, to be honest with you. It's the sincerity of it. There's nobody as disappointed as the rest of us, everybody here that are trying to get the end goal. We understand what it is. We just don't end watch. And so I just want a sincere thank you to all the fans, everybody that came out and gave it all they got and that drove home after the game excited and drove home after the game ticked off. That's the true passionate fans of Hamilton. And just a sincere thank you.
Yeah, I'd say thanks as well to all of our listeners and fans. And Coach, thank you to you. It's amazing the time that you've given us throughout the season to put this show on. 15, 20, half an hour worth of time during the workday of a football week is no small amount. It's equal to hours of regular life during the week of football. So thank you for your energy and effort throughout the season for this show.
I appreciate it. Great job, Luke, and thank you to everybody for listening, tuning in. Looking forward to next year.
Another episode of the Coach O Show with Luke Tasker is in the books. Let us know your thoughts. Email us at gameday@ticats.ca. Coach O and Luke are back next week to discuss the latest from the locker room. Subscribe to the Ticats Audio Network on Spotify or wherever you get your podcasts.